When we first encountered this box, it was we were on a trip with a repatriation delegation that came here about 5 years ago came to the Pitt Rivers Museum, and part of the trip was we got to explore all the Haida collection that they had, and when we first entered the room that had the box in it, everyone sort of took a second to take it in. Both me and Gwaai immediately recognized it as a masterpiece, and we started studying it further. I think we spent quite a bit of time with it in that first visit, and then also came back to it later on in the visit. And it was always sort of our idea that we'd come back to Oxford and spend more time with it.
Once you start to look at it, there's all these little things where the artist has shown his confidence and has just proved himself to be a real innovator inside of the art form, and a lot of the elements that we're seeing, we had felt were modern day innovations, and so to see them in a box that's 150 to 200 years old kind of blew our minds. Bent boxes, like just about every other utility item, like they're a thing that was used, were highly decorated. So in our culture, historically, everything that was used, every hammer for pounding, every spoon for sipping your soup, the bowl that your soup's in, they were all highly decorated. And it's kind of one of the things that defines the art, which is that the whatever type of item that's decorated, it determines the space that the decoration lays on. So, in the case of this box, as much of an amazing thing as it is, it's a square thing, and that's where the artistic form has to lie, is within that squared frame.
So one of the things about the box design in general is the anatomy of the box is quite often the same. There's a lot of variation within it, but you can sort of break it down, and you have the head, the figure with the body coming down, and the hands up. Sometimes it's hands, sometimes it's claws, and there is a lot of variation, but there's a similarity to them. So when you're studying them and working out designs, there's a lot of reference you can go to in photos or things like that. Haida art is a dance between flow and tension. You have one sort of main form line, usually in black, that outlines the main elements and sort of the skeleton that holds everything together. And within that you have a red form line usually, which sort of fleshes out all the more intricate aspects of the design. And in this case, in a lot of cases, there's also a blue that's added, which highlights the negative space in between the form lines.
Some of what's interesting about this artist is in his use of form line and his use of the flat decoration. But a lot of what's interesting about what he's doing is in his carving technique, and very unusual decisions, decisions that we wouldn't necessarily make, but the artist is so far beyond what we're doing that it's sort of hard to question those decisions. And so we're here recreating his box and trying to discover the answer to why some of those more interesting decisions were made.
This box is a masterpiece as far as the confidence and understanding that this artist had in form line art. As we're studying it, we've taken these pictures home with us and studied this design for 5 years now. We've been looking at it, and every time I see it, it's something new sort of comes out. But it wasn't until we got here and started this project that we were able to actually see the box in person again and see the cuts that he made and some of the things that we've seen that we realized 5 years ago, we're rediscovering and just really a fresh piece to look at.